What have you done to yourself?
I didn't do shit. She's the one that pulled me back in.
Nah.
Playing
That's
music?
accusations being thrown.
Yo, what if I came in on my hoverboard?
It's like a paid
What's
advertisement.
up, guys? Welcome back.
Paid advertisement. Go buy Wraith by Michu.
Oh god. Alright, y'all, we made it to episode 12. We have survived a lot. I also learned that my dad is slowly watching all of these episodes. So hi Dad in the future. Hello. We just talked on the phone like 10 minutes ago.
Hello, Father. You're watching this. I'm legally your child now. You're signing adoption papers.
I think what's worse is he might. Genuinely. I feel like we should preface that episode 12 is not based around foster parenting. We just found a bunch of stories. I don't really think there's a theme today other than we just found stories that we were like, ooh. Ooh.
Messy.
But I mean, I guess that means shit. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm gonna forget again. Hi, hello. Should we do like the typical YouTuber thing of like hit the bell, smash subscribe, like the video, get us to 20 million views.
Share to your friends.
But anyway,
5 likes.
Pookie, that's not
5
YouTube
likes
friendly.
on this video and all the videos going forward.
Listen, alright.
Just 5 likes is all we.
We don't have a guest this time around, but that's because scheduling is sometimes difficult, and we're all a little stupid, and also have full-time jobs outside of the headset. So, you get me, you get Squishy, and you get Shadow. The standard trio. Hi, hello.
Hi.
We're here to annoy you on your feed today. I hope you're driving safe and doing the dishes properly. Don't forget to get the pasta out of the bowl. It really sticks in there if you let it sit overnight. Get the chrome shiner.
Yeah.
And don't let the scrap food sit in that little strainer thing in the bottom of the sink. Empty that out. It stinks when you let it sit there for 4 days.
4 days is very specific. Have you done the dishes recently?
Yeah, it was like yesterday.
Okay. I feel like we should just ask that.
Have you done your
Alright.
dishes today?
So, the first story I got comes from Am I the Asshole? And it's, Am I the asshole for laughing in my cousin's face when she tried to stage an intervention for my quote-unquote drug use?
Everyone hold.
Pausing.
Everyone hold. We do have a guest because someone just requested off of me. Guess who it is?
Oh?
It's End. We have End back for another episode.
Oh, bet. Well, hold on. We'll pause. Let's see if he sticks around. I'll wait. Intermission break, y'all. Hold up.
It's either he's high off of his ass or he's drunk already.
Both will be funny. Okay, there we go. We lied to you. They were dropping in to say hi.
He just came to say hi.
But so this one comes from Am I the Asshole? And yeah, so am I the asshole for laughing in my cousin's face when she tried to stage an intervention for my quote-unquote drug use? I, 27 male, have a condition which causes me to overproduce earwax. I don't tell people about it because I was bullied for it growing up. Only my wife and parents know. Every other day I had to put medication in each ear, let it sit, then flush it out with a rubber-tipped syringe. This prevents ear infections, vertigo, and permanent hearing loss, and worsening of my tinnitus. I have dealt with all of these to some extent, so I stay on top of my eardrop regimen. If my alarm goes off when I'm with others, I go to the bathroom for 20 minutes, knock it out. If I don't follow my schedule, I forget, so I can't put it off. 2 weeks ago, my mom hosted family dinner. My cousin, Kara, 37 female, saw me waltz off to the bathroom to do my thing, syringe in hand. She asked what I was doing. I said just a minor medical thing. She kept pushing, but I didn't want to say anything because she gossips. I told her it's personal and scooted past. When I left, she was standing in the hallway. She asked what took so long and why the toilet didn't flush. I said none of her business. She said she didn't mean to offend. Last weekend, my friend called me to invite me out to lunch with some buddies. He said to meet at his house so we wouldn't have to drive separately. I arrive at his house and find Kara and my friends sitting solemnly on the couch. Kara said they were here to talk about my problem and that they just wanted to help. I said there is no problem. Suddenly it clicked in my head what this was about. I couldn't help but laugh a little out of shock. She asked me what was so funny, and I said, first of all, why didn't you talk to my wife or parents? She said she didn't want to involve my enablers, which just made me laugh harder. She looked annoyed and said she was done trying to help. I said, that's all right by me. She stormed out. I explained to my friends. They knew I had a condition, but never pressed me on it. I guess when Kara approached them, they thought I was lying. Obviously, I'd rather they know than worry about me being an addict when I'm not. I thanked them all for their support anyway. Kara had apparently reached out to my friends through my social media. We all got a good hearty laugh out of it, which Kara must have heard because she was, of course, eavesdropping. She burst back in and told me to tell them the truth, to which I said I did. My friend kicked her out. We went out for lunch, and I thought that was that. My mom called me yesterday and told me she talked to Kara about the whole thing and explained. She said Kara was very upset with me and essentially called me an asshole for not explaining. I laughed in her face, for laughing in her face and embarrassing her. I said I was embarrassed, and that, I'm horribly reading this. I said I was embarrassed and that Kara had no right to my info. I think she shouldn't go around snooping and making assumptions. My mom still thinks I should apologize. Am I the asshole?
No. The fuck? It's a personal medical thing.
He didn't do shit to embarrass her. She embarrassed herself by sticking her nose into business that wasn't hers in the first place.
Like, I understand too, if you are concerned for somebody like using and abusing and being an addict, you ask them outright instead of jumping through these hoops and conclusions and accusing not only the parents but the wife of being enablers. You should have asked OP, like, are you, addicted? But they already said it was a medical thing. And if it's a medical thing, you don't have any right to know, and they're not showing sign of addiction.
It's
like
HIPAA standards.
Yeah, I've heard of HIPAA, man. I hope you get fired. You violated it.
See, now what would have been really bad is if she went digging even more before contacting the friends and taking, like, the syringes and the medication and all that. So then she would be able to see if he had any withdrawals.
I think what's dumb is, like, if you saw the syringe, right? And, like, let's be real here. Everybody's seen a plastic syringe, okay? They are not the standard, like, thin medical, like, pointy needle syringes. Those plastic ones, those are really big.
They're like oven basters. They're like
exactly.
Oven basters.
You're not using that to shoot up into your arm or something. Like, those hold Pepto-Bismol. Like, those are, like, for, like, mouth medicines.
Pepto-Bismol.
That's so dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that, she, as soon as he said he didn't want to talk about it, she should have backed off. But if she was really concerned, she should have went to the friends and went to the parents and been like, hey, is he, using this? Like, what are all of these for if you guys know? Don't sit there and immediately be like, oh, well, all these people who corroborated your story are just enablers. Like, no.
What's worse is that she didn't even ask the parents or the wife. She automatically, like, marked them off as being enablers. And it's like, if they were genuinely going through an addiction, and maybe the wife and parents didn't know, you just marked them off as enablers and jumped to, like, the next best thing. Like, you went through so many hoops because you didn't want to be wrong. You just wanted attention to be like, I'm a good person. That's what she was aiming for. Because a smart, logical person would have automatically gone to the wife or the parents to be like, hey, sorry for prying, but is this a medical thing? You're trying to play hero when there was no hero needed.
Mm-hmm.
She should be embarrassed. I hope you feel so silly goofy. Silly goose. Poking and prodding in business that's not yours.
Silly goofy.
She's not the hero we wanted or needed.
It's the hero that nobody asked for, but she fucking put on the Spider-Man mask anyway.
The hero
this was
from Megamind.
Ready? If I can grab it. She really said, oh fuck. I turned to that. I put it back on.
Listen, what's that one video that was trending for a while, and it's like, I'm not the hero the world asked for, I'm the hero the world got. And it's just really messed up Spider-Man the entire time.
I know what you're talking about.
PlayStation 1 Spider-Man.
Oh, Lord. I know, I hope she feels embarrassed. You should not have to apologize. She shouldn't be sticking her nose where it doesn't
No.
belong. You already told the truth. That's up to her. She needs to go to cope with her own issues if she wants to assume everybody's medical problem is like a drug addiction. Lord.
I wonder what she thinks kids that are diabetic are. Since they actually have to have an insulin needle.
I actually have, okay, so funnily enough, in high
Addicts.
school, a girl I did wrestling with, she was the only other girl on the team. She was a diabetic. She regularly had to do insulin, she had a bag that just had nothing but needles in it, and it's like her life, you know? I always hung around her. I promise you, people genuinely think it's a drug addiction, and it's the funniest thing to watch unfold when she has to do her checks or put her insulin in, and everyone's like, oh, so young, you're in high school, and she's like, I'm diabetic. What do you think it's heroin?
No.
You think I was able to get
you're
that?
not. So my brother's type 1 diabetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's had it since he was 13. So he's pretty much had it almost his entire life. He's 28 now.
Mm-hmm.
And 27, 28. I don't remember off the top of my head. Holy shit, I'm a bad sister. Anyways, he would come home sometimes with his bag in like a fucking trash bag, like his backpack, because that's where he put all of his insulin stuff, right? He wouldn't have his backpack sometimes during the entire day of school due to the fact that like a substitute or like a teacher that didn't know him saw like inside the bag and saw like all of it, like his pump and his glucagon and all that kind of stuff, and
Oh no.
be like, oh my god, you're doing drugs in the middle of class. And he's like, no, like, look, I have blood sugar tablets, I write down my blood sugar. Like, I have because my parents got him a pump like maybe a year after he got diagnosed. He's like, no, look, I have a pump. There was one substitute teacher that yanked the pump out of his side.
Ouch.
I was like,
That's
well,
a
so-
lawsuit.
do you know how a pump works?
No, I've only ever seen insulin
So-
needles and then the finger pokey thing that tells you what your level's at.
So there's those two things, right? The pump attaches, so you have to take a stick, right? Like one of the poke sticks with the needle on it, and it has like a little circle sticker thing on it. So you do that, you put it up against your side, pretty much on your like abdomen area anywhere, except like in the front. You'd shoot it into your side. It would stick there, and then there would be the pointy needle end of it. And then at the end of the pump on the string part, there's a little attachment to where you can poke it in, like plug it into the needle part,
The needle.
and it
Mhm.
attaches to the pump. The pump constantly pumps insulin into your body.
Dude, I have so many
Damn.
questions for
So
people
is-
who think that's like drug use. Is like, what do you think a drug user does? Like, what
Yeah.
equipment do you think they
So-
have?
They aren't going around with like grade A medical equipment
Yeah.
to shoot.
No, they
up or
got a
anything,
metal
like-
spoon and some tinfoil rolled up
Like-
certain kinds of ways. Like,
So I remember this so vividly because he came home and he like fucking cried to my mom about it because he was so scared to have it on him like at all anymore. But he was setting his pump because you have to set it when you feel like your blood sugar's low. Like he tested his blood sugar and he saw it was low, so he grabbed his pump so he could set it to where he could have insulin in his body, right?
Mhm.
The sub was walking past and she saw it. And she's like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm, setting up my pump. Like, didn't the teacher leave a note about that? And she's like, no. And she fucking grabbed that, like, actual, like, pump part out of his hand and yanked it because she saw the cord. She
Eee.
yanked it, and the entire sticker, so the needle part and the rest of the pump, yanked out of his body. And he was bleeding, and she was like, "Why was it attached to you like that? Like, you're doing drugs right now? Go to the fucking office." And he was like, "Can I at least have my pump, please?" And she was like, "No, you'll get it when the principal says you can get it." Keep in mind, the principal knew about my brother's diabetes.
You can get your job
Yeah.
back when the
Principal
principal says you
was
get it back.
Yeah.
The principal was a family friend of ours because my great uncle he was there when the high school opened and continued to be there as a coach and a teacher. So he knew our family. He knew who I was. He knew who my brother was, and like the whole diabetes shit. So like when my brother told him what happened, that sub didn't see the light of day. That sub went to jail for
Oh, but
endangering
yeah.
a child.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
because, like Palm said, that's a fucking lawsuit right there. Y'all
it's a
could've
lawsuit
sued that
for not
sub.
We
only
didn't-
hurting the child,
we
but when it's
didn't-
diabetic, like they could die.
We didn't
Exactly.
do anything because my mom didn't want to go through that entire process, because let's be honest, paperwork.
I would have
But
just to be petty.
I
I'd be signing documents.
I remember my brother telling me that story over and over and over again, be like, "If you ever see a diabetic person, don't do this." And I'm like, "I see you do it every day. Why would I yank a pump out of someone?"
Oh Lord.
Why would you put your hands on somebody else's property in general that's not your place to
Preach.
I hate entitled.
Well, I think what's weird too is if he made the thing like a comment of saying, did the main teacher tell you? If a main teacher would be leaving a note, it's probably not drug use. Because that's not something you tell a teacher.
Exactly. Oh no, Palm, don't you get it? The teacher was just one of his enablers.
Well, and it's also again,
For real.
what equipment do you think drug users have? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have some fancy pump to do only a specific part of their body. They don't care. I promise they don't care.
So, Substitute's been watching a little bit too much Breaking Bad, hoping that they could fucking
For real.
You're not that guy, bud.
get a pay bump.
Enjoy jail.
Sorry, you're not Walter White.
Lord. All right, you get us to the next story.
Alright, so this one is from Best Redditor Updates, but it was originally posted on True Off My Chest. This is called "The Barbie Movie Made Me Realize My Mother Never Truly Loved Me and Never Will."
Wild.
There are trigger warnings. Past trauma, emotional abuse and manipulation, death of a loved one, neglect, and possible child abuse.
I don't think the Barbie movie shows that. I think the
We're
Barbie
in
wasn't.
for a roller coaster.
The Barbie
Go
movie
ahead,
was
sorry.
just like a whole like feminist, like okay, that's wrong wording, not a feminist thing, kind of a feminist thing. But the only thing I've never seen the movie.
It was a female empowering movie.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's way better wording because the only thing I ever remember seeing is like people breaking up because their boyfriend didn't want to see this movie. I've never watched it.
Okay. Are you
I
ready?
I
went
want
to a
to.
convention and there was somebody dressed up as Barbie, right? And we were walking through the doors after a
Wild.
parade, and there was a dude behind us that was a part of the parade, right? And he did the whole like "Hi Barbie" type shit, and she did it back to him after he walked past her. We came in behind him, right? I heard her snickering under her breath because of how like entitled she felt and upset that she was that she didn't get to be a part of the like convention parade throughout like downtown Atlanta and everything.
I will say, those of you who do think you're entitled as Barbie,
You're not that guy. You're not that girl.
anyways, you ready?
You're not them.
Sign me up. Am I gonna get am I gonna
Alright.
get spoiled for the movie? It's fine. I'll watch it anyway.
Alright, so OP says on mobile, so excuse typos or formatting issues. Spoilers and not safe for work just in case. I'm in my 30s, female, and moved back home last year due to a million reasons. During this time back, I realized how my relationship is with my mother and has always has been. It's not great. We fight a lot. I know I have known I'm not the child she thought I'd be. I have mental disorders, I'm fat, and others. Last December, during an argument, she told me that my mental illness that I truly work hard to control, 10 plus years in consistent and intense therapy, triggers her childhood trauma because her mom has the same disorders. I've always been compared to her, but this just changed something in me, and it's been harder since. I doubt she even remembers saying it. Back to the title. I actually watched the Barbie movie with her yesterday, and watching the relationship between American Ferrera's character and the daughter was something I wish I had. I wish I had a mom that cared, that loved me, that I was just a kid that I didn't realize how much she does. I think a part of me hoped my mom would see that and realize maybe just love me because I had heard that was a reaction daughters had. When I cried realizing this, she actually laughed at my emotions but did not know that's why I was crying. My mother only shows love when I can do something for her, and that's really not often. I'm always reminded of what she gave up for me, and how me in the past bringing up things that hurt me hurts her, because I'm never positive. It's always been what I don't do. I've spent years trying to rationalize why I've never feel enough. Her mother was awful to her, still is, and I've always told myself that's why I'm her only daughter. Just breaks me, really. I realized the relationship was only made worse me moving home because I stopped begging my mom to love me. I stopped doing everything I can for her affection. Sorry, excuse me. I've been making plans and efforts in silence to move and go no contact, but I have things I have to do before I can. But after watching the movie, I just confirmed why I need to do that. I cannot keep eating glass for her to feel good about herself as a mother. Anyway, TLDR, I wish my mom loved me, but the Barbie movie made me realize she'll never be able to.
That's wild.
There is an update.
I need to watch this fucking movie.
I got about 20 minutes into it, and I was like, it's too fucking cringy. I'm sorry, I'm done.
It's because it can. Anyway,
It's not meant for the men. It's for the girls.
So, the original post was made around the time the movie came out, so September of 2023. The update was made November 2nd, 2024.
So that was like 5 days ago.
Yeah. I had to look at the date.
7.
7 days ago, because yeah, today's the 9th.
So, update. Around a year ago, I made a post about how I watched the Barbie movie with my mom and realized the lack of love she had for me. I saw it make its way to TikTok and decided to update. First, I want to thank everyone who commented. I really only got a few negative comments, which to me was surprising, but even those I appreciated. Now to the update. It's actually a happy update. In October of last year, my grandmother, who I mentioned, passed away, and I joked with my friends on how her passing restored peace to the land. She was a pretty awful person, so it's okay if you laugh at that. During the aftermath of that, my mom and I had became a team to take care of my grandpa, and it started to heal us. And all that actually set the stage for our relationship to be better. I ended up in treatment for ED in December of last year. My ED was rough, but because I'm fat, I was worried she wouldn't believe the struggles. My mother was the one person I was afraid wouldn't support me, but she actually was my biggest supporter I had. I was gone for 3 months in a city about an hour and a half away, staying in a condo near the place I did treatment. She called me every other day just to check in. She helped me financially since I was out of work during that time. She never once made me feel bad or that I was faking, which she had done in my teens and early 20s. When I came home, she continued that. She went to therapy for the first time on her own. We finally talked about everything. I brought up the movie and my reaction. She understood and apologized about her treatment of me. And beyond the words, she continues to make efforts. She still asks me how my food relationship is. She makes sure I'm taking care of myself. She tells me she loves me and is proud of me a lot. Things have also changed in terms of her other kids, my siblings and my dad and my stepmom. It's all something we appreciate. She's trying. Well, it's not perfect. I still will forever be closer to my stepmom, her wife, but I feel like I can talk to my mom about things I could never before. So honestly, my grandmother dying really did restore the peace to our family. I doubt anyone will see this update, but who knows?
Well, congrats, Pookie. You made it to YouTube, and you'll be back on TikTok later. Tee-hee.
More than likely.
That's okay. That's sad and wholesome and sad and wholesome. Like, it's like a vicious cycle of, oh, now I'm sad. Oh, that was wholesome. Oh, now I'm sad again.
Like, I'm happy
I mean,
with the
at least
outcome, but I also expected it to be messier.
Oh my god, we're so used to
At
Reddit
least
being
they're
horrid.
repairing their relationship.
See, that's the only, like, good outcome.
True. I think that's like the one good outcome that we've had. It's like I wouldn't say that we're too used to Reddit being horrid. It's just there's so much more shit and like shitty people and shitty things going on all the time that you forget about the little good stuff that might make its way through occasionally.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
You know what's hilarious?
Hmm.
when the Barbie movie came out, Allison made my dad go watch it with her in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how nothing changed?
Pookie. Do you need a hug?
I need a new dad.
Congrats, you have mine.
Hey, honestly, same. Mine's sitting in an urn with my mom right now.
How's it feel to be Batman?
I mean, I still have my mom, but I look at
You
it
need to
as
rephrase that sentence better, because the way you said it made it seem like your mom and
I'm
dad's
fixing to
ashes
make
were in
it
the urn.
I'm fixing to make it sound a lot worse because listen, the last thing that I look at it this way: if my dad gave me one last final parting gift, right, whenever he passed away, because he was cremated, he's at least now half black. Therefore, I now have the inward pass.
I hate it here.
Alright, so I'm blocking
I'll
Shadow.
never use it. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I promise to God, it's a joke. Listen, we cope with our trauma with dark humor. Okay,
Oh,
like I
God.
apologize if it offends anybody. I would never actually try to use that.
See,
But
I
I
have
might
dark
get an
humor.
invite to a barbecue better.
I have dark humor. Y'all just don't like it.
I feel like none of you guys are allowed to speak here on out.
Make it your mom joke. I dare you.
Now, speaking of my mother, in regards to this story, hi mom if you're listening. Hello.
Hi, mom.
I'm gonna kind of like trauma dump a little bit. So in high school, we did not get along at all. Okay, we would duke it
My
out.
mom would have hated me in high school.
It's alright, Pookie. We did not get along in high school at all. I was a shithead, but one, I think distance and just like I don't know. I really don't know what the switch was, but it was like the second I was an adult, like me and her have fixed any issues that we've ever had together. And I mean, I was on the phone with my mom like 20 minutes ago before hopping on. Like it's. I go to my mom for everything. Okay, I rat on, like, anytime something happens, I'm like, Mom, I might be 24, but, like, listen. And so time can kind of what's the point I'm trying to make here? It's more so that time heals a lot of wounds, and I think the distance from OP and her mother, and then throw in a death, it kind of, I think if anything, made the mom realize like life is fragile and life is quick. And so repair what bonds you can. Yes, not everything is repairable, but the fact that her mom is making the steps to be like, oh, I fucked up and I'm sorry for that. So like, let me try to work on it. Even if it's late in the game, yes. And for OP to be mature enough to be like, yeah, you know, like let's fix this together is really, really nice. And we're so used to Reddit being such a shithole of like, oh, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, I was prepared for a messier outcome of being like, fuck you, mom, you're not my mom anymore type shit. But it's Reddit. We're so used to things
I'm
ending
glad that it was wholesome.
horridly. I'll say I'll take the W every now and then of like a wholesome story. It's kind of
Right.
someone still died. It's kind of wholesome, but like the death, not so much.
Just take that into consideration. Tomorrow's never promised, and it don't matter how young or old you are. If you've got somebody that you love, tell them. Don't wait. Don't let some pointless BS fight or anything else like that keep you from saying how you actually feel to somebody.
I think it's also be mature enough to apologize. A lot of people will
That
burn
too.
bridges because
That
they
too.
are too embarrassed to ever say I'm sorry.
Or they have too much of an ego to admit that they were in the wrong.
Like it's 2 words and can fix so many things. As long as you mean it. Don't half-ass say sorry. If you're not sorry, don't say it. Because you gotta say that shit with your chest.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see here. Oh, that was so nice. We love wholesome stories. Alright, let me see.
I
It's about
got
to
a
not be
helmet on.
wholesome.
She can't tell what I'm looking at.
I like to wear glasses so people can't see what I'm looking at. Pookie, not now. My parents are watching. That's for the bachelorette party. Hi, Mom.
not the emote, not the
Okay. So this one is from Am I the Asshole? And it's Am I the Asshole for being a quote unquote deadbeat parent to my older son? This is in my way.
It sounds familiar.
Oh no. Okay. Some background. My ex had been fighting for custody since 2020 and is still going. He finally managed to get my older son living with him because the courts keep my younger son with me now and we only see the other child every other weekend. So the boys can spend weekends together. I filed for child support because we make around the same, as it was set at 0 with us splitting medical costs and him covering insurance. So before, when both kids lived with me primarily, I paid for everything for them. Medical, extracurriculars, etc. My ex paid my rent and my phone bill and paid for stuff for the kids separate from me. He, however, decided that he didn't owe me any support anymore when the custody became 50-50, even though it's his job as a father to support his family. Now that my older son is with him, he constantly hounds me for money that I can't afford because I work part-time now, and we have a baby with my new partner to take care of. I also pay for my younger son, clothes, food, haircuts, school supplies, and doctor visits, and never ask him for anything. He feels that because he still pays his own decision for clothing and shoes for my younger son, that I am a deadbeat for not providing for my older son. I still do pay half of my older son's braces, which is like $100 a month. And for birthday and Xmas gifts, I got him a backpack for school. Some things my ex keeps asking for. Half of my son's contact lens fee, half of copays for medical procedures, half of his extracurriculars, which are optional and cost way too much, half of his school field trip fees. I keep telling him I don't have the money, and now he is heavily implying that I don't care about my older son, and that my older son is way more expensive than my younger son, so me not contributing to his expenses is basically a deadbeat status. The most hurtful thing he has said to me is that my kid stepmom provides more for my older son than I do because I won't step up, which is terrible and unfair because she makes way more money as it is. So am I wrong for refusing? Pookie?
So listen to me, okay? Well, listen to me here right now.
Listening.
In this case, he is more of a deadbeat than you are. Reason being, now don't let me cook with this. Don't flame me just yet. Okay. Reason being, one, if his new partner is making a lot more than you are, technically, in terms, you should be getting child support.
She is.
Not in the way that it's done properly.
No, through the courts and everything else, and based off of their both incomes and everything, and they agreed on 50-50. That is her child support.
But
No, he still is paying child support.
Okay.
On top of the 50-50.
But he should be paying more due to the fact there is now another income coming from his
So is
partner,
hers.
because that's a shared income. Is OP's
Yep.
partner making more? Okay.
So OP's partner makes more from what this is all just from like speculation as well. So, but both of them have remarried.
Okay.
OP actually has a new husband and a new baby.
Okay. So that's four.
she
That's
can't
four in a
afford.
household, and then that's 3.5. She didn't say she can't afford.
She did.
She just said it's a little hard due to the fact that she's still paying 50-50 for the other kid that is staying with dad.
Mm-hmm.
Which, understandable. I also have a fucking question. How the hell are you paying $100 for fucking braces?
That would have to be an insurance
If
thing.
that's half, I want to know who the fuck you went to. Because even with insurance, my dad paid $500 a month for mine.
They might have
Back to the
downplayed it.
original topic. You're not the asshole. Okay? Dad had no right to call her a deadbeat when she was providing clothes, shelter, and food whenever both kids were with her, on top of having a baby.
But, and now hear me out on this. If you stop paying your 50%, because, and this is going to sound really fucking mean, and I only halfway apologize for it, but if you can't afford your current child support, and you can't, or you're having a little bit of struggle with keeping up with that and everything else, one, keep your legs closed and don't have another kid, but also, if dad's been taking care of all of his stuff, he's had the kids most of the time, he's paying for the medical, he's paying for the food, he's paying for the fucking
He's only had
school and everything
oldest.
else.
He's only had oldest most of the time.
Here, so
He hasn't had youngest.
I want you to remember this phrase from the post, right? I'm going to reread a few sentences. I filed for child support, but we make around the same. Court set it at 0 with us splitting medical costs and him covering insurance. Before, when both kids lived with me, I paid for everything, but the ex paid her rent, her phone bill, and all the other things for the kids that weren't medical costs. However, he decided, so once it became a 50-50, he decided he didn't owe any more support, and she's claiming, well, it's your job as a father to support. But the things that he is asking for are things that were already agreed upon. He's asking for the son's contact lens fee, medical procedures, extracurriculars, which is funny because she's wanting the youngest son's extracurricular, to be paid for. I'm just going to say sports. She's wanting the youngest son's sports to be paid for, but is not helping pay for the older son's with her reason being because they're optional and too expensive. So why is it okay for the
Basically,
youngest
she's
son but not the
decided-
oldest?
She's
Well, here's
calling
the
her ex
thing.
a deadbeat. Hold on. She's calling her ex a deadbeat because he's refusing to help her pay for the youngest son, but at the same, like what Plum just said, she's refused to help pay or continue helping pay for the oldest son. Whenever that was initially agreed upon, they were both going to 50-50 back and forth. She stopped paying her part, and now she's asking for more money from the ex-husband?
So
No, I'm
here,
sorry, OP.
here's
You're the fucking asshole.
here's my piece. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to think about this. If her reason is the same reason that X is not paying for youngest extracurricular because it's optional and it's too expensive, that's one reason why it's clashing together.
Nope, he's still paying for those. I
'Cause
had to
if
reread
she's-
it. He's still paying for the younger son.
He's still paying. He's still paying for the
For
younger
the
son, and she's asking for
extracurriculars?
more- Yes.
Yeah, so he feels that because he still
I
pays his own
misunderstood
decision
this
for
entire
clothing and
fucking
shoes for my
story.
younger son, that I'm a deadbeat for not providing for my older son.
Dad is providing for both the kids right now. Mom is only providing for one and asking for more money from X for the
Hold on.
youngest,
Read that
and
again.
for her new kid that she has with the new partner.
Yeah, so
Read
what
it again.
Shadow is saying is that the dad is still covering for the older and younger son, and the OP, the mom, is refusing to pay for the older son because he's too expensive, and she has a new baby with a different guy.
And she's
Can
asking
you-
for more money for the new baby.
Can you repeat the sentence you just read?
He feels that because he still pays his own decision for clothing and shoes for my younger son, that I am a deadbeat for not providing for my older son.
That doesn't give any clarification.
Well,
Your hand did
she
not, like-
said earlier the dad's paying. The dad's paying like. All
But
that stuff.
it doesn't give us insight on whether or not she is actually paying for shoes, clothes, etc.
I'm going into the
for
comments.
both
Give me a second.
kids. Because if she
So, let's see
is and
here.
he's still saying that she's not, then we don't have clarification that she is or she isn't. Because that's all she said, is that he is
Well,
calling
she
her a
didn't-
deadbeat because she's not providing those things for them.
for the older son.
Oh, the comments
And
on
He said
this
for both.
post.
He said for both of them.
No, he said that she stopped providing any of that for the older son that lives with him because he's too expensive, while the younger
No,
son.
I'm
hold on,
not
while the
talking.
younger-
I'm not
okay,
talking about the extracurriculars. I'm
not
talking about
that.
clothes
Okay,
and shoes
time
and
out,
stuff.
Time out. Time out. Time out. Older son lives with dad. Stays with
Yes.
dad. Everything else. Younger son stays
Yes.
with mom. Yes.
Yes.
Dad still pays for the shit for both of them.
Yes.
Mom doesn't want to pay for older son shit anymore because he lives with dad and he's too expensive, but wants money for the younger kids because she can't afford it. I get what you're saying about just the extracurriculars, but it doesn't come
That's
down to just the
not- that's not
extracurriculars.
So
it
this
comes
might
down
go
to
deeper than
bills
we
in
know.
general.
That's not the only thing.
I know
That
I'm
one
not
sentence
even-
she just read, right? About
Mhm.
her getting
give a
stuff
fuck
for
about the
both
clothes and the
boys. Yes,
extracurriculars, I
but
just
that's
care about bills
technically
in
a part
general.
of the child support they agreed upon because that is a
Yes.
50-50 thing.
And
She never
stopped paying her
clarified.
50-50 part.
She
She said in
never
her own post.
clarified. She never clarified that she was or was not buying the same things.
So,
Read that sentence again. Read that sentence again. Read it again.
hold on.
Read it
Read
again
the whole
before I
fucking
lose my
post
fucking
again.
mind.
Read the whole fucking post because read the whole fucking post because
Oh,
OP mother,
God.
bitch of a mother,
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry, is sitting here and she said she stopped paying for the older kid because
I'm
he's
gonna
too
pause
fucking
both of you.
expensive and
She never
wants
said
the
she
dad to pay.
stopped.
She said she wants to.
Okay, I'm gonna pause both of you because this is actually going deeper than we expected. So one, I do want to say that in the comments, they voted OP as the asshole. Within those comments, they found out that OP has posted multiple times about this situation and has been deemed the asshole every time. I found one of the older posts while you guys were, I'm gonna say, harshly debating. So here's a different post from her. And she was
OP is
also
a
rated
bitch.
the asshole. So here is a different phrasing for the exact same situation. This comes from the same person, and she
Just
titled it,
entitled
"Am I the
bitch at
asshole
that.
for not helping my ex pay for our older son? We have 2 kids. They both used to live with me. One lives with my ex now, high school, and the younger, 2nd grade with me. They are supposed to both see each other parent every other weekend. We split 50-50 summers. However, because my older son started playing football, I gave up a lot of my time over the summer because his practice is an hour away and I just told him to stay with his dad. With regards to child support, I filed when I had both kids, but for whatever reason, the amount came out to 0 in court, and with custody change, turns out I had to pay him, but the courts were kind enough to keep it at 0 since I was the one who filed. Since then, we just have been paying for the child that lives with us. Also, when I have both children, I never asked their father to chip in for anything. He did buy clothes and supplies and pays for both boys and paid for the extracurriculars and our older son's expensive contact lenses. His vision is so bad the contact lenses have to be custom made, but I never hounded him for it. Unfortunately, my ex does not feel the same now that he has custody. He keeps texting me, seems to be out of spite because he knows I reduced my hours to part-time to take care of my boyfriend and I's baby and no longer make what I'm used to. Saying the child support order that I filed for the state's medical cost must be shared 50-50. So now he wants me to pay half of the contact lenses, $200 a year, and the other half of his braces, which I did agree to pay, $100 a month. I told him no to the contact lenses because our son can just wear glasses, which are totally covered up by the insurance, but my ex says our teen does not want to wear glasses because he plays football. My ex also is constantly hounding me to contribute to things like the football costs for uniforms, he wanted $50, extracurricular costs, PE clothes, school items, etc., because he claims that our older son is more expensive than the younger. He still buys our younger son clothes because I just give him hand-me-downs, and he has both boys more than 50% on average because I gave up time with our oldest son. He told me I am essentially abandoning our older son because he no longer lives with me. Not true. I did buy him a $60 backpack for school and a nice belt. When I told him I couldn't afford it because I work part-time now, he told me go back to working full-time, and that having another child does not mean that I can stop paying for my current kids. I do pay for my kids. I pay for food and clothes for my younger. I am extremely hurt by my ex, even though he even threw in that the stepmom is supporting him more than me. I spend the time with my son when I do see him, but I'm basically paying for my younger son entirely. So within this post, before either one of you start, I'm going to state this now. She contradicts herself. He is still paying for the younger son. He is still paying for both children. The court told them that medical expenses need to be split 50-50 from the older son, and she is refusing to pay those bills because she went to working part-time instead of remaining full-time. And there's still more in the comments. There is still another post of hers that I can probably find.
I'm sorry, but OP, you're an entitled little bitch and needs to learn how to keep your legs
Can I
closed.
mention something?
Go for it.
Can I mention
for it.
something? So, in that post, she said, right, she pays for most of, if not all the stuff for the youngest because she basically has the youngest almost 80-90% of the time other than when he goes to his dad's.
Mm-hmm.
Older teen stays with dad
Mm-hmm.
except for the weekends. So he pays for most of the stuff for teen because he has custody of the teen. So in the way, they are still splitting it 50-50 because they are each paying basically full amounts, except for little things, for each kid that lives with them the most.
Except for the fact that she quite literally said the dad even still buys the younger son new clothes and shit and sends money for new clothes because all she can give him is
Okay.
hand-me-downs.
Within the
The dad's
comments,
Okay.
spending more money than the mom is on
There
both of their
is
kids, and the
an
mom doesn't know how to
explanation.
actually take care of shit.
OP
The mom's the
herself
asshole. You're
does
not winning
state
this one, Squish.
she
I'm
might
sorry.
be the asshole because she's refusing to pay costs for the older son, and she also might be the asshole because the ex does pay for things for the younger son. She just simply can't afford it, and that's what she's stating. And within the comments, everybody is saying, you're the asshole. First, because you gave up your shared custody because of your son's football practice taking up too much time. Her words.
That's okay.
Her word. She told the older son, stay with your dad more because your football practice is too far. And now she wants the dad to give her money whenever she ain't even paying half of her part anymore.
So the third account from OP
And
was
she's
actually
coming to Reddit
suspended.
to bitch about it. Hmm?
So I can't. The third one I can't find. It was actually suspended.
Damn.
But I'm scrolling through comments to
one
find
of those
some more
entitled
context.
women who doesn't know how to keep their legs closed and wants all the guys that knock them up to pay them child support because they can't take care of themselves. That's exactly what OP sounds like to me, and I'm sorry if that makes any of y'all
Ooh.
hurt.
Okay, so somebody actually was able to repost the one that was suspended. And she has reworded this 3 different times now. So we have, my ex and I are split for about 6 months. The judge ordered that the 14-year-old go live with his dad partially because he kept complaining to the judge about not wanting to live with me. In quotation marks, she puts, his dad has been brainwashing him since he was 12. Now I only see him 4 days a month because the judge let me keep our 7-year-old even though my ex is still trying to take him from me. So the boys are not completely split. We alternate weekends so the boys can spend time together at each parent's house. My son played tackle football when he was 9, but only for a season. Then flagged for the last year. He really wants to play high school football as a freshman. Problem is I barely see him during the school year as is. Summer's the only time. But their football practice is all summer, 4 days a week, except for a 2-week dead period. His dad claims it'll be detrimental to him as to miss half of his practices, so he's asking me to agree to either take him on my weeks, the 1-hour drive, or just let him stay with his dad. I said no, that he will either have to miss or I would not agree to him doing football. I only work 1 day a week, so I don't make enough to cover the gas. I have a baby I have to watch
She
while
ain't
my
even
boyfriend
accommodating
works.
shit.
Even with my ex covering gas, it's still mileage on my old car that could break down. Now my ex thinks I'm the asshole and my son thinks I'm ruining his life. I don't understand. It's literally just for the summer. He would miss half of the practices. I doubt they would play him as a starter in the fall just over this if they understood the situation. That was the suspended post.
One question, as my shit starts to try to die bad. One question. How detrimental to you, Squish, would it be if you missed half your season in practices for volleyball when you were playing?
I did.
Or over half?
It didn't matter. It didn't matter anyways. I never started.
Okay, well that's...
I'm the wrong person to ask.
I'm still gonna say for this
Listen,
one, OP's
okay.
the asshole. But that's just strictly from what I can see on these 3 posts. They were voted the asshole on all 3 of them. 2 being, the ex has gone above and beyond, in my opinion, to say, dude, he wants this. Like, he doesn't want to do the glasses because he plays football. I can understand not wearing glasses while playing sports. It can become dangerous, especially if your vision is so impaired that they're custom made, you probably need contact lenses. Along with, the ex is covering the gas so he can spend time with his mom and still do these practices, and she's still saying no.
This is a case of dad supporting the son's, like, dreams and hobbies and interests and all that. Mom supporting herself and only what her self-interest is, and if it doesn't go with what she wants, then she don't give a fuck about it.
And just from like a personal standpoint on this, the other reason why I will out the gate say OP is the asshole here is one key phrase just like struck a chord with me. And now, as like a little, little lore dump, little trauma dump here, I've seen family within my family go through divorce, and I have watched what happens when you hear the key phrase of they're actually just brainwashing them. The person who says that is typically the one doing the brainwashing, and it's typically the one in the wrong, because I've seen that happen, and they were the one in the wrong the entire time. I've never seen a case where it's saying brainwashed and it's like actually true.
It's because they're projecting what they're actually doing onto their kids, but it's not working because the kid's smarter than that and can actually see the parent for being the asshole that they are. And so whenever the parent, again, it comes back to entitled, spoiled brats who are going to throw a tantrum when they don't get what they want. It's basically what this mother is doing. Is she's sitting here and she's getting all mad and trying to throw dad under the bus the entire time, so on and so forth, and paint him out as a bad picture. She sounds like she's probably tried to do it to her kids, and the older son was like, I'm done with this. I'm going to live with dad and everything. Well, not even that. She pawned him off on dad because she didn't want to take care of him anymore. And more than likely, it was because her new boyfriend doesn't like the oldest kid or something like that. There's probably more layers. I'm speculating right now, I know. But it comes down to quite literally, she's pawned her oldest son off on her ex, on his dad. And very blatantly, in my opinion, shown that she wants very little to nothing to do with him in the way that she's acting now and everything. And then she's coming online and getting up. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. For this one, I'm simply just going to say I do agree with the comments. I do think she's the asshole, but I'm also going to heavily say we are missing so much information. There is so much left out and so much that is worded terribly in every single post that, like, she's not telling the full truth. We do not know the full story. And she left a lot of her phrasings, like, open-ended or would jump back and forth between things that we don't... There's a lot of unknowns. There is still a chance that she's not the asshole, and maybe there is a different side of this where the dad is being a dickhead. But based off of what I can read in there and what is somewhat a coherent sentence, I'm going to agree with the comments. You squeaky? Pookie,
I need to break shit.
Oh, Lord.
I need to go to a rage room after this fucking argument.
Valiant effort in defending her, and I would have wished for the mom to have been a better parent.
Like she said, we're missing so much information that we can't even with the comments, we can't really determine based off of what we have and a bunch of the open-ended shit and all the back and forth shit. We can't really
attitude.
That's fair. But also without, like, detrimental details and without repeating the same shit and leaving it so open-ended in how she's phrasing it, we can't really determine whether or not she is the asshole or not. Because, one, we don't know what happened to them to cause them to split. Two, we don't know what's actually going on the inside. Who knows?
Yeah. All we
Three,
know is
we don't have the boys' perspective.
Yeah.
We don't have their kids' perspectives because it could be vastly different.
Yeah.
I will say though, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. During that entire thing, I know when I get angry because I feel the heat rising up my neck. That entire time, and the entire time I've been sitting here, it's just been fucking heat all up my fucking neck to my head.
With us signing on to do Reddit podcasts, this is bound to happen. But also to all of you YouTuber people listening or watching or whatever you're doing, I can promise you we're not actually mad at each other by the end of the night. We are allowed to disagree. It is the point of this podcast, is to debate and to sometimes get heated. Because also if you feel something like strongly in your gut, you have every right to be heated. We don't hate each other by the end of the night. This is the point. We're not always supposed to agree. We are not going to be the podcast that sits around and we're like, oh, we love each other. See, they're hugging. Okay. But we're not going to be the podcast.
We're gonna go play Overwatch later, but
Exactly.
we're gonna go play Overwatch later as I strangle the fuck out of her to see the camera right
Go
now.
to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
No, we need to go to a world where I can break shit. Can we
I have
do
a
that
world
after
for that.
this?
I have a world for that.
Please.
But listen,
There's
that
a
is what
raging-
makes
I need to.
that's what makes these episodes interesting to me though, is because I take pride in us not being like a normal podcast where we all share the same opinion. The point of this is to be diverse and to have separate opinions, because I already know we're gonna have nights where Shadow's gonna say something, we're gonna be like, you're dumb, you're a little dumb, and it's gonna reverse. So that's why I enjoy this shit.
Yeah. And I'm wholeheartedly like I know for a fact there's gonna be nights that I'm gonna have an opinion, probably a strong opinion about something, right? And I'm gonna voice mine, and everybody else here is gonna be like, no, fuck you, that shouldn't be how it is. And I'm gonna just be like,
glasses up, nose. Actually.
Okay, just for that, I'm gonna end the episode and we can go do a rage room.
No, I have one more story.
Then get over here, Pookie.
Sorry.
Come here.
Yes, ma'am.
Come here.
Mm.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm
Sorry,
wholeheartedly
Dad.
ready
Sorry,
to
Mom.
be told off by you two
I'm
for
not.
having differing opinions.
Well, you just saw what happened when you do it with me. That's very
Exactly.
minuscule.
Exactly.
All right.
y'all know what I'm opinionated on. I ain't worried about it. You signed up for this
one
friendship.
Has...
Oh, yeah.
This one has one update.
Now we all know too much, so ain't none of us getting rid of the others.
Exactly. All right, hit us. Let's
For
go.
real.
Don't actually hit us, but you know what I mean. Here's my
Alright.
beer.
So this is off of the Reddit thread Nanny Throw, but it's on Best of Redditor updates.
I'm setting my controller down.
Nanny.
I think it's just like it's a nanny Reddit page.
I'm just thinking, fucking some big buff dude
All these
holding some grandma by like her scruff and her fucking waist.
I'm gonna assume it's throw by throwaway and not actually throwing people across the room.
Oh, shit.
We don't condone violence.
Not
Sometimes.
at all.
Sometimes depends. So
Yeah.
okay, I gotta sit up for this shit. This is a doozy. Alright, so this is me, 21 female, with the family I nanny for. The son's 13 male. Behavior is starting to creep me out. I'm not sure if it is actually inappropriate or just a cultural difference. There's 3 trigger warnings: sexual harassment, child neglect, and sexism.
I think I saw
Oh,
this one when I
buckle
was
up.
trying to find a story, and I was like, I am interested, and I'll read it later.
Mhm.
Buckle up, bitches. It's going to
Reading
be a
it now.
bumper ride.
I'm locked in. Let's go.
Hey there, using a throwaway just in case. So I'm from the US, recently moved to Italy to nanny. Damn! Can I
Yo,
go?
can I be a nanny?
Dude, sometimes nannies make
Anyways.
bank.
I feel this is important because so far I've not been able to tell if I'm struggling with a cultural difference here in Italy or if I'm actually have a reason to be weirded out. It is easy to tell that the son, Dario, something along those lines, in middle school, as he is already several inches taller than me, and his mom has maybe
stick
30
drift.
pounds on me. When I first got here, some of the stuff that freaked me out a little I could handle, and I chalked it up as it being an Italy thing. This includes stuff like talking almost exclusively in baby voice when addressing his parents, calling his parents mommy and daddy, fighting physically with his little sister over who gets to sit on mom and dad's lap multiple times throughout the day, fighting with the sister over who gets to sleep with the parents, getting extremely upset when mom or dad leaves for the day, and whining about not getting enough kisses or time laying in bed with bed kissing with mom and having his parents blow on chewed food in his mouth because it's too hot. Damn. At 13?
At 13?
The fuck is this kid? A goddamn prince?
Apparently.
If he has a
Now,
nanny,
I really don't
dude,
want...
the parents make bank.
Yeah. Now I really don't want to be critical of this if it's normal here, you know? But in the US, I seriously can't imagine a single 7th grade boy engaging in any of these behaviors. Because you don't. It's the United States. We all hate each other. Anyways, so it's really new to me. And it really hadn't affected me, so I just let it be. The problem is that now I'm starting to get involved and it's making me really uncomfortable. For example, our rooms have adjacent windows which allow the kids to see into my entire room at all times. To me, this is pretty inappropriate. What am I supposed to do when I need to change clothes? But I also don't want them to seem like I am sexualizing children or accusing them of anything. So I just politely asked for curtains and took the changing into the bathroom. After weeks without curtains, the family finally promised me that someone was coming to put them up. Well, they only put them up in the kids' rooms. Ever since then, I find Dario peeping through the curtains at me multiple times a day. Now I'm sure he's just checking in on me or is curious about what I'm up to. But it makes me so uncomfortable. I didn't want to tell the family though because I'm afraid that they would think I was accusing their baby of like trying to spy on me changing, so I just took matters into my own hands and hung a blanket over my window. Another issue has been when we stay at the kids' grandparents' house, there's a room for the parents with one bed for one child and a room for me with a bed for one child. I figured we would split up boys and girls and I would stay with the daughter. But nighttime rolls around and Dario's crawling in bed next to mine. I was so uncomfortable I could hardly sleep. I've talked to my friends at home about this and they all think it's really weird because we aren't related and he's a teenager now. But this is, of course, an American opinion, so I can't tell for sure if we're imposing our ideas on this family. Again, if this is really a cultural thing, though, I don't know how to tell the family that where I'm from, it's kind of inappropriate for a boy so old to be sleeping next to me, especially when he's been spying on me lately without causing issues. Of course, these behaviors affect each other or affect other aspects of our life, as well as it is hard to get Dario to do anything because he usually claims it too hard to do. Making a bed at 13, too hard? Are you kidding? And I often find myself wanting to tell him to grow up. What I need help with is knowing whether he does need to grow up or if it's just all this behavior is normal here and I'm the crazy American that needs to adjust. Is this behavior normal for a 12-year-old, 12/13-year-old, or is it immature? I feel like the parents still really see him as a young child and usually he acts like it. But for the most part, it seems like he plays up to the baby act because he knows it makes his parents cater to him more. If this is abnormal, does anyone have any suggestions about how do I bring this up to the family? There is an edit to that. Just want to clarify that at the grandparents' house, there are 2 beds that are next to each other. Dario was not in my bed, but in the bed next to mine. TLDR, I nanny for a boy, 13 male, whose behavior makes me uncomfortable. I'm not sure if he's actually being inappropriate or if there's just a large cultural difference between my home country and this country.
That needs to be brought up to the
Dario, a
parents.
little player, bro.
Bring that
Dario
up to
out
the
here trying to
parents.
get with the damn nanny.
Well, because, like, here's the thing. Aside from the fact of, like, one, I think everybody's seen a teen boy at some phase, okay? My brother is guilty of this, where if they don't want to do things and you know that you're either having someone who's paid to do it or you know they're going to do it. Okay, my brother would always go up to my mom and be like, oh, but it's too hard to do the dishes. See, I'm doing them wrong. So she would ultimately do them. It's not hard. He can do it. He doesn't want to. And you're unfortunately getting paid to take care of these children. so he knows he can play the rules a little bit. But definitely bring this up to the parents. If you have him watching you and you guys are co-editing in the same room, yes, while you're an adult and clearly the parents are trusting you to not be like weird with their child, that is still this kid's going through a hormonal phase of his life, probably shouldn't put him in the same room as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem smart nor safe, even if you want to sit there and say like, oh, my kid would never. That's great.
You don't know that.
Yeah, he has hormones right now,
You
and
don't
he's
know
trying
that.
to understand what these are. And I'm gonna take a solid guess that he's probably never had a girlfriend. You're 13, so that's a lot of issues. And if you're worried about bringing that up to the parents, I mean, that's shitty parents. Then, in my opinion, that shouldn't be like a scary thing to bring up to the parents of like, hey, you know, not to be like that guy, and I'm still happy to keep nannying for you. But, you know, your son has been kind of peeping on me. I really don't think co-ed is a good solution for this. Like, he should be in his own bedroom. He's getting to that age now. Like, I can be in the same room as the daughter because we're both females. I don't think that's a cultural thing. I think this is simply the parents not putting too much in their heads together. Granted, of course, I don't know Italian culture, but there's not a lot of cultures where co-eding is really normal, you know what I mean? Especially if it's outside of the family.
The one thing for me that, in my opinion, gave away that he knows like exactly, not to say exactly, but he knows what he's doing. He's being a little perv and stuff like that. And from a guy's standpoint, and most of the guys, like you guys that watch this, will probably agree with me. When you were his age and you were in that situation, there's only one reason why you're gonna sit there and peek through your curtains.
Pretty woman, boobies.
Basically, there's only one reason why you're gonna peek through your curtains out your window into somebody else's window, especially when you know it's a female and everything.
Pretty
Like,
woman.
if he didn't have curtains, if the curtains never got put up in their room, that's one thing. Okay, he might have walked by, glanced across because he saw movement, see what's going on, accidentally fucking caught you changing or something. No, he's
Boobies.
deliberately peering through the curtains to see if he can see what you're doing. That ain't a
Boobies.
cultural diversity thing. Huh?
Boobies.
I'll say this definitely just seems like a hormonal
Basically.
teenager, and you really need to bring that up to the parents to
woman.
make sure like this is taught properly. To be like, hey, you know, you're going through. It's time to sit down and have the dad talk. You're going through things. You're having emotions. You're having things going on with your body. Like, let's talk about it, because he's trying to figure it out on his own, and it's not going great.
What Tay
Weaponized
put,
incompetence.
it's exactly what the kid is doing. Hell, for all we know, the kid's like 10 times smarter than anybody's given him credit for, and he's out
Little
here
kids know how to play
playing,
the
like,
game, all right?
3D chess.
Because I promise you, the amount of times I've
listen.
watched my little brother be like, oh my god, I can't fold laundry. Like, I just don't get it. I can't do it as good as you, Mom. And Mom, if you're watching this, please
My
know I
mom
love you. I
always-
mean this out of respect. But she would do the laundry, and she would do the dishes, because he would weaponize his incompetence against her.
Oh yeah, no, I a little bit of a calling out. I did the same thing because my mom would always want me to like do the dishes and this, that, and the other, right? So I would do them occasionally.
I got
But
grounded if I
then
didn't do
whenever
my
she really
shit.
started getting on my ass about things,
I got yelled at.
I would get yelled at, but then I would look at my mom and be like, well, you tell me all the time that I do them wrong, or I put them in the wrong place. So instead of having me do it and it come out wrong, and then you have to go back behind me and completely redo it, if you just do it yourself, then you don't have to worry about it being wrong. And she
I
bought
tried-
into it like a fucking cake.
I tried pulling that once. Once.
Mhm.
I tried it once with my mother when I was like 8.
Yeah.
Because that's when I started doing like dishes, laundry, all that kind of stuff. It was when I was 8. Because it was like prime time when she was sick, but also like she was still recovering. Tried it
Mhm.
once. Never tried it again.
Y'all say, like, we learned.
See,
We learned.
see,
So
go.
Ooh.
no, you go ahead. I was gonna read the edit.
Oh, I was just gonna say, my only claim to fame with why it worked was I think of me as you will. I really don't care, to be honest. I was an only child. I wasn't necessarily
You were a
spoiled
mama's
because
boy!
we
Bastard.
were.
You were a mama's boy.
No, I hid in my room all the time. My mom wanted me to be a mama's boy, which is why I'm pretty sure she would let me get away with a lot of the shit she let me get away
Wild.
with all the time because she thought that
Imagine being an
basically
only
I was
child.
her little angel that
Oh.
could do no wrong and
Ah.
everything. And yeah, granted, I made sure to come out humble, and I know both of you fuckers over there will agree that
Okay, yeah, but still.
Yeah,
We did our
but-
time with dishes.
I was a little.
Again,
I was a
again.
little shit whenever I was growing up.
Imagine being an only child. Anyways,
Oh my god, give me the
So-
edit.
Hey, it's
I
not
would-
as
but
it's
I
not
would
as
like-
great
I
as you
w-
think because you have no friends to spend time
better.
with.
It's better than having a fucking sibling. Anyways,
You
so-
you say that until you have nobody to play with.
I
You just have to
would
play
just
with
like
yourself.
I would like to point this out. That post was made in October 2016.
Okay.
the update was made
February 6th, 2017.
Okay, so this kid's effectively around 14, 15 now? Depending?
depends on when the birthday, but yes. So it says, "Hey y'all, I'm back. Yes, how long has it been? 3 to 4 months later with an update. Long story short, I quit." Here's the long version for those who are interested. The curtain issue. Okay? Like I said in my last post, I had just hung a blanket for privacy since there had been no peeping issues. I asked 2 more times for curtains and was reassured both times that the curtain man would come and hang them in my room. He did come back once and hung more curtains in the kids' rooms, but again not in mine. Then I was told that they didn't like him and they would be finding another curtain guy to hang curtains. It's been 4 months, no mention of it. I still use a blanket. The vacation issue. I have simply refused to go on vacation with them. I'm off on weekends, and I've reached the point where I just refuse to be home for the entire weekend and manage not to see them from Friday night until Monday morning, if I can help it. I go on weekend trips, crash on couches, sneak into my room when they're eating, things like that, just to avoid seeing anyone on my days off. The Dario issue.
Oh god.
Dun dun.
I'm still hung up
This
on the
is the
curtain man.
longest one. This is the longest one on this post. Dario still acts extremely immature. I've warmed up to him a little, and I've figured out how to cut his rudeness and such. He's become a lot more positive and kind, especially because his mom has been gone a lot. He's with me every day. I'm very upbeat, and I've worked really hard to get him to socialize and speak kindly. Unfortunately, he seems to have almost regressed in terms of the childish behavior. He still sits on laps, kisses a lot, and sleeps with the parent when the other is gone. The baby talk is constant. Constant. She said so. Constant the first time is normal writing. The second constant is italicized.
Ooh. Fancy. Fancy constant.
For example, he loves to repeat back butchered syllables of words, if that makes sense. Like his dad will say, "Pass me the spoon" in Italian. I'm not gonna butcher that. And he will clap and explain, yes, or do you want water? And he'll go, "Qua qua." I'm guessing that's how you say that. Oh, okay. So qua qua is like the last 3 letters, because it's QUA. It's the last 3 letters of what water would be in Italian.
Bitch, just pronounce the A. Aqua. Qua, you're halfway there. Aqua.
Technically, on how it's spelt, it just adds an extra letter. It's ACQUA, so it's still aqua, but it's... Yeah, anyways. He also started eating kind of like a baby too.
Like, he'll take the remaining tomato sauce that we used on pasta, and use a giant spoon to drink it out of the pot and get it all over his face, and then suck on each of his fingers. But then I look at his parents. They're looking at him like when you see a cute baby trying to use a fork or getting food on its face.
Oh no.
But he's 13. So I'm honestly sick. It's honestly sickening to watch and listen to. He won't lock the door when he goes to the bathroom or showers. Why? I started locking the door when I was like 7. And he even cried the other day when his sister sat on the foot of his bed. He doesn't like things touching his bed. And guess what? The parents got mad at the daughter. Said it was her fault for baiting him. She just had to tie her shoe for a second. And declared that it's her fault Dario will be upset all night. He also hasn't made any progress with friends and has taken to playing League of Legends, so he won't leave his room or do any activities or lessons with me or his
No,
sister.
don't encourage that.
It's-
You tell me what your username is and we'll team up on there, bud. I got you.
OP said it's pretty sad, honestly. Basically, the hardest part of this whole thing has to be the mother. I won't even go into it here, but she's honestly clinically insane, and I feel so bad for all the people in this house that have to put up with her. She's just a power-hungry, jealous, bitter woman who needs to be seen professionally. Because I went home for Christmas to be with my friends and family, realized how bad this experience was for my health. I was going out drinking almost every night to escape the house. I was sleeping horribly because I knew she was here, and her presence gave me awful anxiety. I was getting yelled at every day, even when I did nothing wrong. I was at home in the States, and the thought of going back honestly made me absolutely miserable. So when I came back, I told them I needed to go back early for medical reasons. Not totally untrue. Now I'm set to leave the last week of March. They found a new girl. Look out for her post here sometime in the future. TLDR, Dario's still acting like a baby. The mom is crazy, and I fucking quit, homies. Get me out of here.
That's a boy mom. That's a boy mom. Tell me I'm wrong. You see on TikTok all the people that are boy moms?
I was gonna say
The first comment says, I'm Italian, and I say that nothing about this kid is normal or appropriate for our culture.
No, that is
no.
a son who is babied so heavily. You are mommy's little precious baby, and you can never grow up. You're 13, but you're still learning. No, because then when he's an adult, that's our problem. Don't make that some poor girl's problem in the future. She's gonna hate her life.
I will take back some of the things that I was saying about him. He is still a little perv, and I feel like he might still somewhat know, like, if I do this, I get to see boobies type of shit. But I want to say that it is not his fault entirely why he is currently the way he is. It is his parents, or at least his mother's fault entirely for the way that he is acting, so on and so forth.
You're raising a serial killer. That's an extremist point of view, but you're raising a serial killer. You're isolating him. You're babying him. He
Or a
can do no
sociopath.
wrong when he's stepping out of lines. You're raising a little
That too.
terror to the world.
That's something I didn't think about either. It was very brief in there, but they are prioritizing their son and giving their son everything over their own daughter as well.
Dude, my
Because
god.
the mom got mad at the daughter whenever the daughter touched his foot, or her foot touched
His bed.
One of them touched the other, and
It was the bed.
Oh,
She sat on
even
his bed
worse,
to tie
the
her
daughter
shoe, and he lost his mind.
So
Oh fucking hell, homeboy, grow the fuck up.
I'm looking through some of these comments. Some of them are a little interesting.
That's a boy mom.
So-
are they?
Someone said, very similar in Spanish culture as well. My fiance's toxic family actually had their son sleeping with the parents in their bed while he was in his 20s. It's the Oedipus complex, and I'm glad we cut them off completely. Another comment was my Sicilian Nana said something once when my brother complained about doing some chores. Basically, if you have hair in between your legs, you're old enough to work. It sounded better in Sicilian.
God. I'm so glad she quit.
Another comment.
Same. Good on you, OP.
But I do feel bad for
out of
both
there.
kids. Unfortunately, I feel bad for the boy as well, just because he's being raised to not actually grow up.
Another
He's
comment
not going to make it on his own. She's doing this so he never leaves.
is I'm Italian and can say this shit is weird as fuck. For those in the comments talking about Italians moving away from their home at 30, sadly, price to move out is seriously daunting, and at the same time, we split the bill to let our parents focus on the last payments for their pensions. Another comment is I suspect Dario is actually regressing. It happens to some very young sexually assaulted / molestation victims and in some other mental health problems. Either the parents know and aren't getting him mental health treatment, or they're burying their head in the sand about his behavior. I hate to say that the assault may still be happening. I imagine it would be hard to hide with OP in the house, but anything is possible once they put those curtains up in the kids' rooms.
Not only that, he sleeps in the bed with his parents, so if they were fucking doing that shit, that OP would have never even seen about it, and he
he's
would have
dying.
just...
I'll say.
Sorry, I'm back. He probably would have just thought that it was, oh, this is just normal mommy daddy showing me how much they love me type of shit.
Ugh.
And
So
I don't know if I want to touch on that topic.
that raises even more questions.
This other comment kind of relates to the one I just read. This really makes me wonder if the mom has been essaying their son. A lot of his regression and boundary problems scream that something has happened to him. And with OP talking about the mother that way, it wouldn't surprise me. I feel sorry for him. They've parented him so ineffectively that he's likely to be socially and emotionally stunned his whole life.
I'll say call CPS. I'm glad she quit, but call CPS. Do a wellness check.
A thread
have
comment
CPS
to
in
that.
Italy?
That
Or
A
is that just
thread
an
comment
American
to that
thing?
was a 13-year-old boy fighting for more time, kissing in bed with mom, screams sexual assault.
No, call CPS. I'm glad OP quit. That's fucking disgusting.
But then again, didn't Squish say this was like from a while ago or something?
This is from
Oh my God, yeah, it's
2017?
2016,
2016,
2017.
2017. So
I just read this comment.
hmm.
It has nothing to do with it. I just think it's funny. This is when I was 13, I was a masturbating machine.
Alright,
There's a
I
girl
hate
in
it
my
here.
class that was pregnant. It's so weird seeing her talking about how he was peeping just for curiosity. That's literally all the comment says.
See, and again, I think a lot of it is a weaponized incompetence. This actually really does fall more heavily on the mom than the son. Definitely call CPS. I'm so glad you quit, but please tell me you called Child Protective Services or the cops and performed a wellness check.
I just thought of something.
I'm scared of what is about to leave your mouth.
Not too bad. That's with the peeping stuff.
Yeah, a lot of these comments are essaying possible comments. It's literally all
He's
most of these
13,
are.
14 years old and pulling that peeping stuff and everything. He has
Peeping
access
Tom.
to the internet.
They put him on League. Yeah, he has access to the internet.
Yeah, he's on League, so he knew exactly what he was doing. He was simply just sitting here being like, "Hey, oh, I'm just doing it
I
out of
hate it
curiosity," and telling his mom that he didn't know that it was wrong when he full on knew what he was doing, just simply because he knew that his mom would believe him and wouldn't get him in trouble for being a little perv and like stuff like that.
Squishy said peace out. You know what? I think with that, OP, please tell me, even if it's years later, someone needs to perform a wellness check. I'm assuming if they found another nanny, something had to have been done, something had to have been said.
That's just in 2017.
Because there's, oh, I just hope the best for the kids. I hope the best for the daughter. I hope the son is safe. I hope the parents get locked away.
He would be 21 now, or close to it.
Oh God.
Wild.
But with that, I'm gonna end the episode here.
Ew.
I'm a little speechless right now. So
Be
this
careful at
episode had a lot of
bars.
different
So-
things.
Are you
There's a
talking
lot in this
about
episode.
Be careful at bars in Italy. He might be out there one of
So,
the one of
Don't
the
nanny in
patrons at
Italy.
this point.
The families are weird, I guess. No, I'm sorry.
So
That's
the room
just
had
this family in
2 beds in
particular.
it.
But we will see you guys in the next
The
episode.
one bed
Um,
she slept in the other one.
I don't have an ending. Anyway, bye guys.
Okay, bye.